Welcome to the fourth and final episode of our Avalon Vista River Cruise vlog series. In this packed final episode, we take you on 2 excursions, we transit a lock, there's Gala Night, and we conclude our ship tour.
Right then.
Oh, that was a very right. Yes, right there.
So today we arrived in Cologne.
In Germany.
Yes, but the purpose of being in Cologne is to visit the French city of Strasbourg.
So there you go, look, that's how far we travel for excursions. We're not even in the right country.
So we're right on the border, obviously, of Germany and France, which is it's been swapping in and throwing, haven't we? So well, no, but it is.
That famous old saying, swapping and throwing. You know, I thought it was toing and throwing, but we'll go with swapping and throwing. The border is actually the river.
It is the River Rhine.
So to cross the border, all you have to do is drive across the bridge. There's no checkpoints, there's no show us your passport mush. You just drive across the bridge, and one side you're speaking German, and then when you're halfway across you have to say bonjour because you're in France.
Exactly. So Strasbourg, where do we start? Beautiful. We've loved our time here, haven't we?
It's you go to play. The beauty of a river cruise is it gives you little tasters of places you may or may not want to come back to.
Yeah.
Now there's definitely already
favourites,
2 or 3 that we would think, yeah, we could spend a weekend there.
Yeah.
And Strasbourg is right up there.
There
because
is.
It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. So we had another fabulous guide, didn't we? We've had some really good guides on this trip, and this was an included tour again.
Included. What on a bit of a tangent, what did amuse me and get the start off to the day after the best start was, despite the fact that it was only 20 minutes on the bus, Carole still managed to fall asleep and snore so loudly that she woke herself up.
I did.
But on the way into the centre of Strasbourg, we passed the European Court of Human Rights.
We did, yeah.
And we also passed like the European Members Building.
The walking tour took us to the Notre Dame Cathedral, didn't it? Which was absolutely spectacular. And we went inside, and I've never seen. We've got a fabulous cathedral in Gloucester.
Yeah.
It's not got a clock like it's
No.
got a clock in
And
there.
before you're thinking, what do you mean you went in a Notre Dame Cathedral? The cathedral in Strasbourg is also called the Notre Dame Cathedral, which means the Cathedral of Mary, I
But
believe.
it's dedicated to Mary,
Yes.
because Notre is a dame, isn't it? Notre Dame. Yes.
I think they just made
Anyway, so Strasbourg, absolutely beautiful with the cathedral, so well worth a visit.
You sort of half touched upon the clock in the cathedral, but that is something that we've never witnessed inside a cathedral before. There is a special name for it, but I can't remember what the technical term is. But it's got moving pieces, and it depicts the 4 ages of man, and pieces move throughout, not just on the clock face, but there's
The planets move.
Yeah, as the planets move, but characters move round on the clock as well. The apostles, yes, and apparently somebody was telling me that it even dictates when Easter Sunday is going to be. Now, I don't know how it does that and the wheres and whats and why-fors, but, you know, I'm just telling you what they told me.
But again, we had these little boxes with the earpieces, which works well sometimes, but they were a bit crackly, weren't they, at times? So we did miss a bit of information, which obviously missed that bit.
Yeah.
So yes, so that was the cathedral, absolutely stunning. So after our lovely tour around the cathedral, we had some free time, and we were taken just before that to Petit France.
Myself and Carole and Fran and Duncan had a lovely walk around.
It's
Petit
beautiful.
France. It's stunning. It's just such a beautiful little place.
You know, when it's that wow factor, you look around and you think, oh my God, this is just, it was just stunning. And we had a couple of coffees in places with fabulous banter with the French, and everyone was like, bonjour, but when it was just lovely.
It's virtually impossible to take a bad photo in this place. It's so nice, isn't it?
It is, but we'll just leave you with these visions of Strasbourg, because we loved it.
Yes.
By this time we were getting a little peckish, weren't
We
we?
were.
So we found a place near the sort of central shuttle area, isn't it? The trams.
Unbeknown to us, Duncan is a massive fan of French onion soup.
Yes.
Now, where are you going to get the best French onion soup?
We should try it in France.
Well, that's right, do as the French do. The place we went to, it wasn't the most picturesque.
High end.
It wasn't high end, and it wasn't the most picturesque because it was in the centre of town. But loads and loads of French people eating there, so, you know, if it's good enough for them, it must be good enough for us.
Exactly.
We went in, there was a little bit lost in translation with the waitress, but we eventually
We did
managed...
have a laugh, didn't we?
Oh, God, yeah. we managed to get our drinks sorted, and then I asked if we could order some food, and she bought us the bill because she thought we wanted to leave. But then I managed to get across to her, and she said, "Oh, mange, oh, manger." So yeah, so we know that if you just say manger, they're going to give you a menu. And we had French onion soup, a croque monsieur, and some
French fries,
some pommes frites.
Pommes frites.
And the only odd thing, the soup was absolutely amazing, but they bought it out in like a cup you would get at McDonald's with Coke in.
Yeah.
Like a paper semi, but the soup was delicious. But why they bought it? Why they bought it in that? I just don't know.
It was cheap as chips too, wasn't it?
Oh, it was, yeah.
So that was probably why.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But that was fabulous. So we had a bite to eat there, and then before we knew it was time to leave, wasn't it? So we had to find our way back to our meeting place.
We were so Duncan and Carole were in charge of the map reading, and I got to be honest, me and Fran didn't have high hopes, but they showed us how efficient they were.
Yes.
But they actually got us back to the meeting point an hour before the bus was due.
But at least we knew where it was.
So the options was, and because it was on the outskirts, there wasn't really loads about, so we had two options: either wait an hour or there was a taxi rank. And I thought I'm feeling quite brave now, so I got my Uber app up just to give me some, you know, if I'd have bought my Uber app up and it had said I was €150 to get you where you want to go, I'd have thought no thank you, but it said it'd be €15 to €20. So we had a sales meeting between the four of us, and we said so we went to the taxi rank, asked the nice gentleman if he spoke English, which he did, and can you take us here? Of course we can. He said it'd be €20 to €25, which I thought, well, you know, we're not
between the four of us.
Between the four of us, and off we set. Lovely ride back in a big posh Mercedes, and it actually cost us €18.
Yeah, it's fab. So that gave us time to have an afternoon snooze.
Yeah, a snooze, power nap. Well, in all fairness, that's what tipped the balance really, because I said to Carole, I said, if we wait for an hour, we're not going to achieve anything. I said, but if we can get back straight back now,
have a nanny nap.
That's an extra hour of power napping.
Which we did when we got back to it. We had but that was a fantastic day.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Strasbourg was a huge hit for us.
Yes.
Rudesheim, loved Amsterdam. Cologne, okay. Rudesheim, loved it. Strasbourg, loved it. So, so itinerary-wise, this has been a real bonus.
So definitely get Strasbourg on your list of places to visit.
So then it was Gala Night. We all had to meet in the lounge for our disembarkation talk because we've only got one day left, which is very disappointing. We could happily stay on here another week, couldn't we?
Yes, indeed.
So we listened to, Paul listened to the disembarkation talk. Well, we took it in turns, didn't we? Because we were going through a lock just in the same time as the disembarkation talk. And we thought, we want to see one in the daylight because we haven't seen many in the daylight. So we took it in turns to listen in and go out and film. But this is us going through a lock, which it's fascinating. That's another thing about river cruising, isn't it? There's always something to see.
After transiting the lock, we were then treated to another beautiful sunset on the river.
So after we got through the lock and enjoyed a happy hour drink, it was Gala Night, wasn't it?
Gala Night.
So we went to our table of 6 as usual and enjoyed again fabulous service from Dragon, and it was just, the food was excellent again, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I had like gravlax,
salmon, which I'm not a salmon fan, but Carole
yeah,
said it was really
lovely.
Nice. And then there was French onion soup, which was ironic because obviously, as
yes,
you know, we'd already had French.
Nice.
It was delicious. And then before the mains, lobster tail.
Yes.
So they must have bought a job lot of lobster tails, because I sort of tipped Dragon the wink, and he said, you know, and he gave me the look of, "Don't you worry, I'll look after you." And I ended up with 3 lobster tails.
You did, but it was lovely.
But they're full of omega-3. I don't know what they're full of.
But it was great.
Oh, it was delicious.
Then we had beef, which was delicious, and then we had a trio of puddings. So we've got to say the food on this ship has been amazing, and lots of healthy options if you wanted those too.
Yeah.
So after our fabulous gala meal,
then they did the staff parade.
Yes, which is always
nice
lovely to
so
see.
It was nice to see all the staff and see the people behind
so
the
everyone
scenes.
that works on the ship,
yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah. We crashed while we were doing that because everybody that was on the ship.
The only person that wasn't there was the captain, because obviously we were navigating locks, etc.
Because he was driving.
Yeah, but the hotel manager introduced us to everyone behind the scenes. Well, as you can see here, we they all did a parade around, and it was lovely, wasn't it?
Fab,
Yeah. And after that, we full up from a lovely gala meal. We went up to the lounge for one for the road with the guys, wasn't it? And we were shattered, weren't we? So we said, you know what? We're going to go back and snuggle up in bed, keep the curtains open, because you know we love our views out of our panoramic suite, which has just been delightful to stay in.
Before we take you on the final excursion of the cruise, let's finish off our ship tour.
Just off reception, you'll find the Panorama Lounge. This is the largest of the 2 lounges, with comfortable seating for around 120 guests. With its near floor-to-ceiling windows, there really isn't a bad seat in the house. This beautiful lounge is a great place to sit and enjoy the scenery, but has lots of other uses too. There's a comprehensive selection of teas available, plus a coffee machine that provides everything from coffee and hot chocolate to lattes and cappuccinos, all of which are complimentary. There's also a well-stocked bar with all the usual top-shelf spirits, a local beer on draft, and an excellent selection of wine, with the added bonus that every night there's a happy hour where it's all 50% off. The Panorama Lounge is also the home of evening entertainment and the daily port talks. At the front of the lounge there is also a doorway that leads you to a covered area at the front of the ship. There's seating for around 20 people. This is a great place for watching the crew work when docking, and also an ideal spot when transiting any locks you may encounter. Right, this is the restaurant. As you can see, beautiful panoramic views. Lots of comfortable seats, as you'd expect on a lovely ship like this. Now this is open for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Breakfast and lunch or buffet, and the buffet would be there, and then in the evening you get a full waiter service with a menu that you can pick from. There's always very, very healthy options, as well as the unhealthy options, which is obviously what I usually go for. And there's always an any time, any day available choice, which are on the bottom of the menus, as we found out today, because they had cheeseburgers. Who knew? But as you can see, it's a beautiful space with stunning views and sometimes not so stunning views.
Right then, so also on deck 1 you get the fitness centre on Avalon Vista, and it's open from 7 AM to 10 PM. So let's have a look at what facilities they've got. So we've got Lots.
35 miles.
So as you can see, Paulie demonstrating. You've got bikes.
I can go no-handed.
He's good, isn't he? You've got bikes, you've got obviously treadmill. You've got some skipping ropes and bits and bobs there, and resistance bands. You've got a roller, and you've got obviously more treadmill there, a sitting down, a different style bike. You've got some free weights as well, and a bench. So that's pretty good, isn't it, Paulie? Yeah. So Avalon do a really up for sort of fitness and well-being, which we've been really impressed with, haven't we, Paul? With healthy eating, the excursions of fit and active excursions, and obviously a fitness centre, which we didn't see on a previous ship. Then, so let's show you why it's important to bring a water bottle with you. Can you see ours? Because they've got these water filling stations everywhere. If you look, it's very simple. You just pop that on there, hold it so you're not touching anything, and you've got cold water.
Icy cold water.
Yes. So.
And if you want it even more icy cold, there's a ice dispenser on the other side.
So there you are. So that's why. Just bring a cheapy water bottle, and when you go on river cruises, because they're handy for obviously on the ship, and they're also handy for when you go out on your excursions. Right then, morning.
Yes, bit of a long face today. It's our last full day.
And an early start again, isn't it?
Early start. We're a bit lastminute.com, but we managed to get on the early excursion.
Yes.
Which again is another one where we're starting in Germany. We're driving across the bridge, because that's all there is again, is the river between the two countries, and we're going to Colmar in France.
We are in Breisach in Germany. We're actually docked, so it's another it's about half an hour on the coach. So the last two docking haven't been central, which we've always been used to before, haven't we? So you need to actually look at your itineraries to see if you need to do an excursion or not. Saying that, you could always organise taxis and reception. Zoya at reception, if you wanted to do your own thing, there's so much information there, so don't worry about that. Colmar, when we first drove in, actually, we thought, ooh, is this is it going to be disappointing? Because it was quite, well, it didn't blow our minds like our other.
I was thinking to myself, I can't believe we've got up at like 6:30 in the morning to come and visit this place, because it looked properly drab.
Initially.
And then we got to the coach park, and
walked through a shopping centre, wasn't it?
Walked through a shopping centre, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh my god!
Yeah.
And we're into these little streets with the most beautiful houses and shops, and it was absolutely spectacular.
Well, they call it Little Venice. And you can see why, wasn't it? It was absolutely, we were looking around like, oh my, this is just like absolutely fantastic. And we just wandered, didn't we? We did the guided tour, which was very interesting.
My only complaint today was
it wasn't long enough.
We didn't have enough time there.
Yeah, we could have spent the whole day there, actually. It would be nice to have actually been able to have time to sit. We sat and had a coffee and that, didn't we? But it would have been nice to sit and had a meal out and stuff, just to try some of the local cuisine. Definitely, if you get the chance to go to Colmar, it is absolutely stunning. So here, we'll show you what we mean here. Right then,
oh, tinge of sadness. Cruise has come to an end.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed our Avalon journey. We certainly have.
Yes, totally.
So thanks for joining us, and we've got other river cruise information and lots of other cruising information on our channel, so we suggest you watch these other playlists now.